You're very brown.
Brown
this morning.
Sunbed.
It's getting to that point now, and she's gonna have to start explaining.
I hate soldiers. Don't you hate soldiers?
Yeah!
Just keep going.
Where are we off to?
Clara, you look lovely today.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's so lovely. That's
Really
off.
Nice.
Because it works on you. There's going to be no trip today. I'm sorry. I've got to do a thing. It might take a while.
What thing?
I wanna be in there.
You're being mysterious.
Oh god. East London.
Hold on, there is just one more thing. Our chief's off sick, so we've got a newbie. I did ask him to come along. Oh, here he is.
No. This is East London, isn't it?
I'm the new caretaker. John Smith.
John Smith.
Call him Mr. Smith.
Most people just call me the doctor.
The caretaker. Ah. I like that.
So you recognize me then?
You're wearing a different coat.
You saw it straight through that.
Deep cover.
Stop.
My school wife. Is there an alien in this school?
Yes, me. Now go. The walls need sponging.
Now
It's a
go.
sinister bunker.
Great shots.
I'm a police officer. Do you hear me?
Takes me back to Rose, episode 1.
Sidestop intruder. Destroy.
Oh, that's a new one. Jeez.
Danny Pink, here's your man, Mr. Smith. 5 years military experience. Sergeant.
Ah.
Electrics. Boy.
Here he comes.
If you need a hand, give him a shout.
You best get back to your PE class.
I teach maths.
Do you? What, in emergencies?
No, I'm a maths teacher.
Excuse me, Mr. Pink. I think that's 9M4 are waiting.
Yes, you better run along, Sergeant. That ball isn't going to kick itself, is it?
I'm not a PE teacher, I'm a maths teacher.
Nope.
Pink, the name remind you of anything?
Yeah. The colour.
Rupert.
Colonel Orson Pink, the guy we met at the end of the universe.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Same name. Doesn't look anything like him,
Duh.
Looks very like him. Sorry, what, Adrian?
I see.
You see, what?
Nothing at all.
Stop.
Excuse me.
Your insanely dangerous plan is a new watch. Tiny bit disappointed.
This is a very special watch.
Hey, that's special.
Doctor?
Crocodile Opulus. They worship a big crocodile there, so the name is a useful coincidence.
Ah.
Canoodle with your boyfriend. Come on. I wasn't born yesterday. Far from it. Yes, I like him. Very, very much. Go home and canoodle. Doctor's orders. Come on.
Just this once.
Oh no.
What I'm told.
Reminiscent of school reunion.
Right. No. But I can help you with that.
Problem solution destroy.
I want to work with you.
Problem solution destroy. Warning, system failure. Abort.
Yeah, she's gonna have to come clean now.
Oh, no. There's only room in
Oh,
my head for
yeah,
cross-country
PTSD.
and the outside rule.
Danny, what are you doing here?
Not far enough. Vortex. Open here again.
Yeah, he's seen sights like those before. On a larger scale, of course, but
Clara, why are you talking to me like that?
she forgot completely.
Well, why are you using words like chronodyne? You're a spaceman. You said you were from Blackpool. And he's not the caretaker. He's
I love the score.
your dad.
Oh.
Space dad.
Genius. How can you think that I'm her dad when we both look exactly the same age?
We do not look the same age.
I was being kind. Right, I'm going to hypnotize him. I'm going to
Doctor,
raise his
stop.
memory. Tiny little brain, I'll only take a moment.
He's my boyfriend.
Well, I'll try not to raise the whole thing. I'll leave the bits
He's
that...
my boyfriend. I thought you had figured this out.
Him?
Yes, him.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
You wouldn't go out with a PE teacher.
Oh
It's a
god.
mistake. You've made a boyfriend error. You're a soldier. Why would you go out with a soldier? Why not get a dog or a big plant?
Because I love him.
He's like, you love a soldier? It didn't even cross his mind that she could be with a soldier, right?
Why would you say that? Go on.
Yes, explain. Who is he? Why have you never mentioned him?
Because he's an alien.
Are you
No. I'm still from Blackpool.
Voila.
Come on in. Maybe you put that fire out.
And we travel the universe in it.
And what about that thing? Did you bring it here?
No. I'm going to protect you from that thing.
You said it was coming back.
Look at his tone,
Yes, it is coming back thanks to you.
his demeanor.
We need to get help. This is an emergency.
Look, take him away. Shut
Fair
him
enough.
Up, shut him down. Up or down.
Everything will be fine.
Time for a long
This
chat.
is all over. You can finish the job.
How do you mean?
Well, you've explained me to him. You haven't explained him to me.
No, hold on, Doctor. She doesn't need to explain.
What do you think?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Why'd you fly off in the box with him? The truth. Please, just this once.
Because it's amazing. What are you thinking?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Listen, I feel for him at the moment.
It's funny, you only really know what someone thinks of you when you know what lies have told you.
Oh.
An invisibility watch? Not even a ring.
Press the button on the side, you're invisible. You'll see me with the doctor, the other me. Exactly the same. Other me. Okay?
It's a slippery slope, man. Because the doctor's gonna find out.
He's a maths teacher,
It's a shame. I like maths.
not a soldier.
Interesting. Let's go somewhere fun. What do you say? Do you want to see the Thames?
I think he just realized.
Those frost fairs.
Come on, the school box thing.
It's a time machine. We can get back straight away.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
Danny, why are
He
you...
already knows I'm here. That's why he's
In.
talking like that. He's being clever.
Now you mention it being a Time Lord. I can feel a light shield aura when it's right next to me.
Lord! Might have known.
Might have known. What?
Well, the accent's good, but you can always spot the aristocracy. It's in the attitude.
Danny,
Now, Time Lords, do you salute?
Here it comes.
Definitely not.
Oh, sir!
Oh boy.
Do not call me son. You can get out of my
TARDIS! Oh, immediately, sir!
Doctor, this is stupid. This is unfair.
I'm a soldier, guilty as charged. You see him? He's an officer.
I'm not an officer.
I'm the one who carries you out of the fire. He's the one who lights it.
Out. No.
Right away, sir. Straight now.
Yes.
Am I dismissed?
Yes, you are.
Look at him right now. That's who he is.
Oh boy.
On balance, I think that went quite well.
This was coming. That got really tense. That face off inside of the TARDIS.
He says Thursday night. Right, all quick.
Shut up. Clara, it'll scan the area. If it gets to parents' evening, it'll kill them all.
We've got to evacuate.
Shut up!
Ooh.
Quickly, what do I do?
We're using it like a decoy.
No, not like a decoy. As a decoy.
Yeah.
Don't they teach you anything at stupid school? I forgot the final input.
6.
I need time distracting.
Is Danny gonna come in?
Oi, Skybox, over here.
Under attack.
Whoa! I didn't know you could do that.
Had to make sure you were safe. You okay?
Okay.
Just, okay.
Doesn't matter if he likes me or hates me. I just need to do exactly one thing for you. Doctor, am I right?
Yes.
What? What one thing?
I need to be good enough for you. That's why he's angry. Just in case I'm not.
Certainly part of it.
He did just save the whole world.
Yeah. Good start.
Yeah.
I know men like him. I've served under them. They push you and make you stronger. To you doing things you never thought you could. I saw you tonight.
Yeah, the doctor does that
What he
a
told
lot.
You weren't even scared. And you should have been. If he ever pushes you too far, I want you to tell me because I know what that's like. You'll tell me if that happens, yeah?
Yeah, it's a deal.
No. It's a promise.
Okay, I promise.
It was like in a film or on the telly, like with
No.
science fiction guns. I don't remember how I got away.
Well, I was coming to that. I'm afraid you really rather didn't.
The Promised Land.
Where am I?
What name would you like? There's a range: the afterlife, the promised land. I'm partial to the nether sphere.
Here she comes.
Sorry, she's a bit busy today.
Yeah. Okay, so I get to see Missy again. I've got to say, I was beginning to miss her. So this is quite the timely return for Missy, though this time it's not just her, is it? You see this receptionist fellow, right? And he name drops the afterlife. But, that was more so, okay, take your pick or make your pick. Afterlife, the Promised Land is a reoccurring name for this place. And yeah, this time she's not as hands-on in her approach. Apparently she was busy. But I don't think this is an actual, representation of the afterlife, right? To me, my first thought is always, okay, there's going to be this sci-fi explanation for it at some point. And the thing is, I've actually seen representation of the final resting place or a type of afterlife already, right? Maybe on a few occasions, but the one that really stands out, of course, is the Forest of the Dead, River Song's final resting space or place, sorry. Or space, actually, yeah, yeah. Because essentially, her afterlife is more of this, it was essentially a database, right? In the Forest of the Dead. And of course, it begins in silence in the library. But yeah, there is some setup for this type of thing already in the show. So I'm leaning towards something more of that ilk rather than the actual representation of an afterlife. Now, could I chalk this up to another doctor-related death? This police guy? I mean, the doctor isn't directly related or didn't play a direct hand in his death. And now you really do have to start thinking about the end goal, right? And, of course, the inevitable confrontation at some point. Surely, Missy is going to meet the doctor at some point. This fanatic, this fan. Clearly she's more than a fan, right? You go back to her first appearance in the first episode of Series 8. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Now, if you compare this to the Matt Smith era, right? This background mystery or the mystery that is kind of built over the span of a season or a series is a bit more toned down, isn't it? Because in the Matt Smith era, that played a massive part. The whole, thread that kind of connects the series or the story arc of a series. Here, since it is a new doctor, it's more of a character focus in a lot of these episodes. And let me tell you, this is one of the best episodes so far as character focus goes. A lot of fantastic development in this one. A lot of fantastic character writing in this one. And I recognize the name Gareth. I believe he's done an episode before. Now, at this point, I'm not really able to recall the episode he has written before, but I recognize the name. Yeah, I thought it was a strong showing. It really was. And of course, Peter Capaldi. How good is Peter Capaldi in this episode? I mean, to be fair, how good are both the actors for Clara and Danny Pink? You'll have to excuse me because I don't know the name of the actor who does play Danny, but I do know, of course, Jenna Coleman. Jenna Coleman's Clara is really, really quite good in this, isn't she? And, I've got to say, the pair up, Danny Pink and Jenna Coleman's Clara, the contrast there is just fantastic, isn't it? Before, it was more so about going toe-to-toe. You had a character who can have the exact same energy as Matt Smith's doctor. But now, you've got this perfect contrast. Really grounded, really natural in his take on Danny Pink. And I think it really is quite functional, isn't it? In this relationship they have. And listen, before I, start going into my take on Danny Pink and how he kind of approaches this and handles this, let's not forget that this is someone who is in a serious relationship with, I almost said Jenna Coleman, with Clara. So I think his approach ultimately is quite justified. His reaction to these things is quite justified. I think so. I certainly think so. Hell, I think, for the first time in a long time, someone actually put the doctor in his place. Maybe since Donna Noble did it last. Listen, the doctor is my dude. That's my guy. But, sometimes he does need to be checked. And, you have Danny Pink here, who actually had a fantastic outing Quite a fantastic showing here. In fact, I think this is the arrival of Danny Pink, for me at least, as a character. This is the first time that I've really actually looked at Danny Pink and thought, oh, okay, that's a character. That's a good supporting character right there. I thought so. I certainly thought so. It'll be interesting to see people's reactions or hear about your initial reactions to how Danny Pink handled this, right? Did you get defensive on the Doctor's behalf? Because as Doctor Who fans, as Whovians, there is this protective side, isn't there? To feel protective of our Doctor. Anytime someone comes at him. But then also, there's this element of understanding that sometimes the Doctor does need to be checked, right? And this was one of those situations. But then also, there is that element of the Doctor actually testing Danny Pink, as Danny Pink also kind of gathers. And, he's really quite mature in his approach to all of this. He understands, listen, the Doctor really pushes his buttons. And again, part of it feels like it is to test this man, right? To see if he's good enough for Clara. You really get that dad energy in this. You really do get to see the protective space dad side of the Doctor in this one, right? Danny Pink even picks up on this, though his first thought is essentially based on the physical look, right? Based on the age difference, at least in the physical look, though of course the Doctor is oblivious to that. He actually thought he was being nice by saying that, her and Clara look like the same age. I felt that Danny really had a handle on the situation, a read on the Doctor, on the person that is in front of him. I mean, not altercation, but that face-off inside of the TARDIS, as Danny Pink is also beginning to push his buttons, again, by design. You see that he understands the Doctor. He knows the type of person he is, and he tells Clara later that he served under these type of men before, right? And they're good at pushing you to your limits, making you better, to a point that you start doing things that you didn't even think are possible for you. And he tells Clara as much, doesn't he, that she was out there just fearless in the face of imminent danger, a lot of danger, right? Yet she just handles it, no problem. She rushes into it. And that, this is so good. That takes you back to Rory, all that time ago, right? He's also, I suppose Rory is another person who does kind of put the Doctor in his place from time to time. Yeah. There's that one moment. It's just him and the Doctor. And he's really frustrated and annoyed, right? And angry even, and sad about this. He tells him, you have no idea the amount of influence you have over some of these people, right? Your companions, as you call them. You make them do things that they could never do before. You make them reckless to themselves and they don't even realize it, just because they want to impress you, right? So yeah, I love that this theme is kind of continuing here through Danny Pink. And then of course there's a great scene later, and once again I think his stern approach is justified. And I'm speaking of Danny and Clara together back at home later that night, because this is his partner and he feels like she's hiding so much from him. She is hiding a lot from him. And, ultimately, sooner or later, this was going to happen. Her trying to juggle the two different lives, the two different lifestyles. You see that she didn't want to pick one over the other. She wanted both of those lives, right? And she thought she could handle it. They kind of allude to that in the opening montage, right? Her kind of going back and forth. Of course, sooner or later, this was going to happen. It was on a collision course. Right. And I knew the moment I saw Danny Pink being introduced as this ex-soldier, ex-military, I knew the moment he actually finally meets the Doctor, there is going to be a lot of friction there. And you see it on display, man. Hell, at one point inside of that TARDIS, I thought maybe I might actually see someone deck the Doctor, right? I thought Danny Pink might deck him. But again, I think he handled himself in quite a mature fashion. Yes, he kind of throws a few stingers out there as well. He certainly gets under the Doctor's skin. And there's a really poignant moment and line of dialogue, right? I'm the one who carries you out of the fire, but he's the officer, right? He lights those fires. And of course, there's a bit of a depiction of that, visual depiction of that as well. Maybe a bit on the nose, but the camera kind of focuses on the fire inside of that gym or inside of that I don't know, theater, I suppose. But ending my point about Danny taking that stern approach in the search for some clarity, right, on the situation and their potential future together. I thought it was fair. I thought his approach is fair, understandable. I think he has a right to know. He did. But I can also see another angle to this, or I could see how people might have a different approach to this. Maybe, you know, a lot of people might have thought that he has no right to, know about any of this. You know, I could see that angle, or how people could take that angle. But, you know, to me, it feels like, yeah, you know, this is his partner, right? And it feels like she's really quite mysterious. You know, there's this moment, you see that Clara is accusing the doctor of being mysterious. Yes, it's presented in quite a comedic tone. And then, of course, on that front, it is such a fun episode, such a funny episode. And once again, you see that Capaldi can do comedy. I mean, it's a tale of two halves, isn't it? It pivots. You know, first half, a lot of fun, a lot of comedic elements, and then it pivots into the really strong character focus and development. But yeah, oh my goodness, I had a blast. I really had a blast seeing the doctor, Capaldi's doctor specifically, in that situation. I love how he thought, you know, he's great at blending in, but before the credits kick in, he stumbles at the first hurdle, doesn't he? Because he couldn't help himself. He goes, yeah, John Smith, but people also call me the doctor. But you know, my point about her accusing the doctor of being mysterious all of a sudden, you see a few moments later, Danny Pink is accusing her of being mysterious, right? Because she is being mysterious. Listen, clearly he's not a dummy. He put it together, okay, there's something going on. That, you know, she has a lot going on in her life. He just doesn't know about it yet. And, you know, this whole angle of him feeling like a protective father, I thought it was great in the comedic sense and in the more serious tone as well in the second half. But, you know, in the comedic sense, you see the smile on his face. He's like this proud father. You know, he's so happy about his daughter's pick because, you know, at first he thought it's that other fellow. Adrian, was it? This guy who's kind of dressed up kind of like the 11th Doctor. But, you know, to me, it wasn't really, oh, in the romantic sense, oh, you know, it reminds her of me. It was more so in the sense that, okay, you know, this is someone I can approve of, you know, this is someone, yeah, I can understand. And he's got that smile on his face. Oh, Clara. But then in the second half, you see the disappointed father, a father that feels betrayed, right? A father that demands an explanation for this, right? Maybe you can explain him to me. I mean, his prejudice against soldiers, ex-soldiers, or military certainly continues in this one, right? His inherent distrust of soldiers, right? Here you see that it's actually really quite a closed off take, isn't it? Taking this closed-minded approach. Listen, it's not something new, right? His dislike, his distrust of soldiers has been firmly established. I'm not saying it's something new, but, you know, I think it's kind of leaning into this aspect of it that even the doctor can have a closed-minded opinion on things, right? So much so that he could not comprehend this as someone Clara could possibly love, right? He could not comprehend that this is someone who could actually be good enough for Clara, or someone who could be intelligent enough or capable enough to do something other than being a soldier, right? Someone who could be a math teacher, something he likes quite a bit, right? The doctor, that is. I remember he said something like, oh, that's a shame because I do like mathematics. Yeah. So it's an interesting approach, right? This doctor, you know, the whole grumpy aspect is certainly there. It's still there. And you see that he doesn't really hide his true feelings. He doesn't. You see that he has no time to sugarcoat things. You see that he has no time to put on a facade. Even his even his demeanor around humans in general is really different. It's really different, isn't it? Listen, you know, a main difference that I'm seeing here, or one of the main differences I'm seeing here, is that Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, actually felt like this intergalactic superhero for a lot of his run, right? But this Doctor, none of that. There's none of that here. Listen, if I'm being honest, I'm beginning to think this Doctor is really quite up my alley. And this approach to the Doctor and Capaldi's approach to this Doctor is right up my alley. I think the makings of a potential contender for the favorite Doctor is certainly there already. It is. I'm seeing it already, man, because I'm really liking this approach. But you do see by the end of it, there is a glimmer of hope, right? It's a start. He did just save the universe. It's a start. Listen, I've got to say, the whole, backflip and acrobatics, it got a little bit too silly for me. I was not expecting that one bit. But yeah, it's just there. But yeah, you see the beginning stages of it, right? The Doctor potentially approving of Danny Pink. At the least, the Doctor understands at this point, okay, this man understands my take on all of this, my concern in all of this. And he also knows that this man is someone who is dead set on protecting Clara, right? Because, of course, she means so much to him. They're in love, right? So it's a good start. I'd say by the end of it, it's a start in terms of kind of having an understanding. Listen, I'm not saying these guys are going to end up being buddies or friends in the same capacity the 11th Doctor and Rory end up becoming friends. Because I think that would be a little bit unrealistic, to be honest. But I can see perhaps some sort of mutual respect. And maybe, through the character of Danny Pink, this Doctor can come to understand that, okay, not all soldiers are alike. But yeah, great episode. I really enjoyed that. It's a really fun episode. But then also, it pivots into something a bit more serious as well, right? As it needed to be in tackling these concerns and issues and dilemmas, right? Yeah, a fantastic episode. It really is. I'd say it's one of the standout episodes of Series 8 so far, right? Top 4, easily. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. Give me your thoughts. If you're interested in full length, timer-based full length, of course, or perhaps early access to the next 2 episodes right now, consider checking out the Patreon page and supporting the channel. If you are interested, the links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, if that's your thing. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.